Alright, so if you want, you can open up the PowerPoint. It'll be the same PowerPoint. That way you can follow along yourself. We are Learn English, and just as a little refresher, we teach people how to learn English. Pretty simple as that. It's a online tutor and teaching course where people can come to learn the language. So this week we discussed whether we were going to pivot or proceed as we usually do. And although we made some arguments for pivoting, we ultimately decided to proceed with our current idea, mainly because of good customer feedback that we've received. A lot of people that like the idea, there's a lot of people that need to learn English, and there's currently some people in the market that are doing this exact same thing, but there's not a ton of major players, and they do well for themselves. The other thing that really made us want to proceed in this next slide is our customer scorecards that we did. As you'll see, most of the scores are pretty good. We have a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s, more 3s than we would want, but that's about as low as it goes, with one person giving lower than that. But we like the results that we've got from our peers and potential customers. So moving on to revenue streams that we've discussed, we thought about a subscription service, such as a lot of classes are. And in this subscription service, as you can see on the picture on the right, we provide the service to different types of customers, whether that be a professional, a student, or just someone who wants to learn. And then they pay us their fee per month, per year. In this case, we have per class that we have going on. And then we talked in class to a student about maybe adding ads to that idea, and specifically thinking about what ads would actually appear and basing that on what our customers like, and making it so that us and the advertising company, the company that's providing the advertisement, that they can reach their target customer as well and make it a win-win. We also discussed the possibility of upselling. We really liked this came from actually a conversation that was had in class, but we really like the idea of good, better, best in order to help maximize profits. Shane really brought that up in class about how we could grow our customers, the get, keep, grow principle, to actually grow them and help them mature. And we really thought if this were going to be possible, we'd have to get into foreign companies and foreign markets, and after the pass-fail test, we've realized that that is possible. Thinking about fixed and dynamic pricing in the good, better, best model, we like the fixed. It's a lot easier. People have busy lives, and that way they just pay the fee and they come to their class, as opposed to dynamic pricing, where it would get confusing. It would be possible, but it'd get confusing with things such as scholarships, adding on to making it cheaper for people, grants, that kind of principle. But fixed would just be easiest, just for them to pay for their service, whatever that may be. And here's some numbers. If you'd like, you can open up the PowerPoint and search them a little bit deeper. But just to show, $120,000 potential revenue for this revenue stream. The next we looked into was advertising. To start off with that fixed pricing versus dynamic pricing, this one we actually like the opposite. It would be more of a dynamic pricing strategy, because fixed, they would pay to put their advertisement on the site and that would be done. And a dynamic pricing, they would pay for that, as well as they would pay for every time their advertisement got clicked on. As you can see in the bottom left, the first year revenue isn't very much at all, but it does provide some extra revenue at pretty much no cost. And there's the model you see as it goes out to our different types of customers, whether that be the beginner customer who is just learning to dip their feet in language, may even just go on a vacation, wants to know what they're going to be hearing from people. An intermediate, maybe someone who even moved to a foreign country, or just someone who really wants to kind of hammer down the language and learn English. And then finally business. These are people who need to know English for business, which is a lot of people. They need more specific and more advanced language so that they can get by. And then finally, the freemium strategy, which doesn't focus on people who are ready to pay, but then hopefully develops them into maybe being able to pay. And so we actually talked about our current pricing strategy, and most people were okay with the price that they had and actually suggested having a good, better, best model. That way they could decide where they were at and then proceed from there. And so what's next for us? The subscription was the way that we decided to go. Just to charge people a flat monthly rate. We like this because in an earlier slide you'll notice that we talked about the cost plus markup. It allows us to find out what our cost is and then just mark it up from there so we can make sure that we're making a decent revenue. And then upselling to add on to that. Throwing in a good, better, best model where people pay $50 a month if they're just dipping their feet in the language. But then if they actually want to kind of hammer down and learn the language, it moves up to $100. But like that business class we talked about before, people who really need specifics, really need a detailed course, a good instructor would pay more. Thanks for listening to our presentation.